recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZEDGamesAU.
this is Z Games here on 4ZZZ. It's a Thursday night. I couldn't remember the evening.
It is a Thursday night.
It's the same night every week.
Same night, Thursday night, 6-ish, 6 o'clock-ish, with some abysmal weather outside.
I like it. It's festive.
I was starting to sound like a pilot there for a moment, just kind of like, all right, Brisbane, we're just coming in for a smooth transition. You're listening to Z Games, and with me is the captain, Maylee, and co-pilots, Hazel, Caroline, and Zahra.
It's too many pilots for one plane.
Well, it's a very big plane, actually.
Very big plane.
And we're flying around the world non-stop.
I want to be a stewardess.
Oh,
and
okay.
Eat all the peanuts.
So we have two
You
co-pilots.
should probably get fired. Those are for the... What do you call them? I was going to call them the patients. Anyway, we're going on a ramble. That's a bad start, my dear patients. We're here to talk about video games. Soak up the good vibes.
Listen to some news.
Listen to some news, for sure.
Yeah, and reviews.
Yes, we have 2 reviews, but I won't spoil them. You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Ooh, anticipation.
Special. One of them was from me. So...
Oh, I'm really excited now. We're going to have a little drum roll for that, I think.
But let's get into the news.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Thanks to Paul for the news.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Bing bong, news for you. Have you been wondering how GTA 6 is shaping up? Last week, Rockstar suffered a major leak, with a significant amount of material from the until now unseen project finding its way onto the internet. Gameplay footage featuring a female and male playable character that had previously been rumoured involved in a variety of GTA activities. Details abound online for those interested. Also included was a significant chunk of Rockstar's source code, allegedly for GTA 5 and GTA 6. Rockstar has confirmed the leak and made the following statement. Rockstar Games recently experienced a network intrusion in which an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information from its systems, including early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto. Current Rockstar game services are unaffected. We have already taken steps to isolate and contain this incident. Work on the game will continue as planned. At this time, Rockstar Games does not anticipate any disruption to its current services nor any long-term effect on its development timelines as a result of this incident. Those who reside in Germany can rejoice. After 30 years, you can finally get your hands on seminal first-person shooter Wolfenstein 3D. The German ratings board has been reviewing banned art that contains Nazi imagery on a case-by-case basis and revoked Wolfenstein 3D's ban back in 2019, but up until now had not granted it a new classification. 16-year-olds in Germany can now purchase the game, while those 18 or older can enjoy the expansion, Spear of Destiny. Nvidia have announced their new lineup of video cards, the 40 series, due for release later this year, starting in October. The cards sport impressive improvements in power, efficiency, ray tracing performance and AI optimization. Along with updated versions of some of that technology, Nvidia also introduced RTX Remix, an AI-driven platform to assist modders in upscaling old games running on DirectX 8 and 9, increasing texture detail, ray tracing support, model replacement and more, all running in a common platform across games. The announcement contains many examples, which you can find linked to on the Z Games Facebook page. To show off the new cards and tech, an updated ray-traced version of Portal was announced, which will be available for free. Alongside the release will also be an original tech demo, Racer RTX, wherein players can race RC cars through 4 impressive environments. The new cards will retail at a starting price of $1,659 Australian for the base model 4080 and $2,959 Australian for the base 4090. Star Citizen, Chris Roberts' crowdfunded spiritual follow-up to Wing Commander that originally kickstarted a decade ago with a release date of 2014, has now raised over $500 million. Please just stop. Upcoming game releases. September 23 will see No Place for Bravery for Switch and PC, Serial Cleaners for PlayStation and Xbox platforms, Switch and PC, Sessions Skate Sim for PlayStation platforms, Xbox One and PC, Slime Rancher 2 for Xbox Series X and S and PC, and The Deerfield Chronicle for PlayStation platforms, Xbox platforms, Switch and PC. September 24 will see Shovel Knight Dig for Switch, PC and iOS, and Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival for Switch. September 28 will see the version 1 release of Grounded for Xbox platforms and PC, Hoko Life for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch and PC, Life is Strange Remastered Collection for Switch, The Fridge is Red for PC, The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero for PlayStation 4, Switch and PC, and Tunic for PlayStation platforms and Switch. Woof woof game fans, that was the news.
Where does he keep all that air in his lungs to just keep going and
Oh,
going
he's
and
actually
going?
got, he showed me the x-rays. He's got enormous lungs. They're
Like-
the size of tennis courts.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's actually like, they're quite compact, but like, you wouldn't know it if you looked at Paul, but
No.
his lungs are enormous.
He's actually got a third lung in his lower back that you can't normally see.
That feels like
Yeah.
cheating. That feels...
Yeah.
Well, it's what life gave him, I
I don't like it.
He's
He's
using
just-
that gift to present the news to us.
He's using his natural talents.
Also, okay, does anyone a show of verbal hands, did anyone else get like a remote control car when they were a kid at some point?
Oh, absolutely.
Perhaps
yeah.
like play with the neighbors.
Wow, I feel really left out. I did not.
Did you see like other kids have a remote control car and they stare at them?
I
with, like,
knew they
great
existed.
yeah. How much do you think those ones cost? Like, like one that you'll get for like your 8-year-old or something.
50 to 100?
Yeah, like, and at that age, that's already a huge amount of money for a child to wrap your head around. You're like, this is a treasure. This isn't a toy. This is an investment.
I will drive this to college one day.
So the idea of like the most basic RC being over $1,000 is absolutely bonkers to me. And then for like the base, like, base standard, whatever it is, to be over 2,000, that's so much money.
I could buy a real car with that.
Yeah.
It's like a tank of petrol.
Wait, I'm confused.
Zahra,
Zahra,
did you confuse the graphics cards in that segment for the
Oh,
RC cars?
it was not
There was an
cars.
RC car game that you could play to demonstrate the capabilities of the new car.
all I heard was RC car, and I was
thought
like,
this was going. So,
You just stopped listening after that.
wow.
I was so, oh my
So
god.
we wrapped up at
For shame.
no, the new graphics cards from the video are going to start at a
That makes much more sense.
$3,000 for the RTX 4090, which you may as well just get a car.
I want listeners to know that like my ears are currently burning from embarrassment
Yeah.
because I was like fully going on a random.
We let
we
you
were
go
really
on.
confused.
Anyway, yeah, no, that makes much more sense.
I was
I
really
will-
happy to talk about RC cars.
It's
I
still
mean-
a lot of money, but it's a lot more reasonable than an
Yeah.
RC
Can I talk
car.
about RC cars for a minute?
yeah.
My older brother was really into RC cars and planes and stuff when I was little. And we had a concrete pool that cracked and
Oh.
had to be drained.
Oh,
And it became like
the
the RC car dome.
yes.
It
Oh, that
was
would've been fun.
amazing.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
It was the coolest thing in the world. And then my parents decided to get a vinyl liner to fix it. And I was sad.
Aw.
Parents just don't.
Boo.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
You hear that, Mum?
Oh dear. Thanks for playing along, everyone. I really appreciate it.
I had no idea what was going on because I didn't listen to the news.
Well, apparently neither did I.
Maybe Paul just needs to enunciate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm happy to pin the blame on Paul.
I heard cards.
I heard cars.
I was just thinking about Rockstar Games and how they're going to murder someone.
Oh.
Well, what are we hearing now?
You're listening to Z Games here on 4ZZZ. And we're back with none of us to talk to you, but another one of us who is not here tonight has prepared something for you.
I'm sorry, Maylee, but you made it sound like he's dead.
You could
thought
say
you made
that.
it sound like we're dead.
Oh. We're not dead.
Someone is
We are
dead
but
in this situation.
I am dying of anticipation.
We are broadcasting from the beyond.
Ooh.
The afterlife is a radio station.
And
I'm not going
what's
to
happening
explain.
to our bodies?
I'm not going to explain anything we're talking about. You're just going to have to listen to the review to get our bad joke.
Yeah, to get the context.
So yeah, take it away, Toby.
A trigger warning for this review. I will be talking respectfully about the process that takes place within a funeral home, from washing a body to the process of cremation. If these things may trigger you, please mute me for the next 3.5 minutes. A Mortician's Tale is a game that introduces you to the intimate and confronting world of what happens to your body after death. You play the black-haired, tattooed Charlie, the newest funeral director in the family-run Rose and Daughters funeral home. Charlie has managed to land on her feet with a boss who eases her into the swing of things, with her first job being a closed casket funeral. So, to show your respect, you are asked to wash the body to prepare it for the funeral, and then attend the funeral. After changing into a respectful outfit, covering your tattoos, you reminisce with the attendees, listen to their qualms, and take a moment to stand by the coffin and process the death yourself. The gameplay has a very simple loop. Go to your computer to check your emails, where quite a lot of exposition lies. You will find your monthly newsletter with handy-dandy tips and tricks, your job for the day, and correspondence from friends and co-workers. Then you will follow the routine of attending to the client's requests in the preparation of the body and attending the funeral. This can range from open caskets to cremations, with all the tools and steps you would normally take simplified for the gameplay. However, the real gem of this game is the story inbuilt under this. Each loop takes place about a month or so after the last. By reading the emails, you follow the ownership of a family-run business doing the best it can for its clients, where the head wants to retire, and you slowly move into the hands of a larger conglomerate. In this business, the model is to push for sales and exploit the grief of families for higher profits, and, at the crux of the game, a few real issues. Do you respect the last wishes of a person, or go for that commission? Where do you stand when a family member wants something different to the person who once inhabited the body in front of you? Is processing this body worth the environmental impact? Is a funeral worth going into debt for? In terms of audio, the soothing yet eerie background tracks composed by Helena Heron are a perfect accompaniment to the repetitive procedures, email reading, and funerals you attend. While the track loop isn't very long, the tracks provide smooth loops and transitions between scenes. When it comes to sound effects, the ticking of the embalming fluid machine, the rumble of the cremation and such, can be quite confronting starting off, but quickly become routine. Other sounds are quite soft, with the cremulator making a sandy hush that may be disconcerting for entirely different reasons. A Mortician's Tale is a simple story in a simple point-and-click game that, for me, hit quite close to home. I played this shortly after visiting a local mortician who had recently sent off a friend's father, and we sat and chatted for a few hours about many things, including the idea of being death positive. I personally thought I knew the basics of what happened after someone dies and the processing of a body, but at the age of 38, this game taught me about new procedures, things that made me feel uncomfortable, and about not having a will, which leaves it up to family and friends to try and figure out what you would have wanted. Overall, I recommend taking your time and playing A Mortician's Tale. Not because it's an amazing visual extravaganza, but if, like me, you haven't thought too much about your post-mortem corpse disposal process, it will hopefully make you seriously reconsider the last impact you will leave on this earth, while also having a few Easter eggs to dig up for good measure. A Mortician's Tale was released in October of 2017 by Laundry Bear Games, and is currently available for PC and Mac through Steam and itch.io, and for mobile on iOS. I received my copy in a Humble Bundle.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
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 Perfect. Thank you. Welcome back to 4ZZZ, to Zed Games, to the beautiful gaming show. We're going to go straight into another review. This one I prepared for you earlier. I don't know. I was going to say I made it all special, but I didn't. But I hope it is special for you, my dear listener friend. This is for the game Blind Review. No, oh my gosh. I don't know how to speak. Blind Review. It's for the game Blind Drive. Take it away, past Maylee.
There's nothing quite like driving down the highway at night. The cold air, the wind in your hairs, the music blaring, the cuffs on your hands, and the blindfold over your eyes. Blind Drive is a game unlike anything I've ever played before. Blind Drive is designed to be playable with your eyes closed. You play as Donnie, a serial lab rat looking for his next quick buck in another scientific study. It isn't the easy money he was hoping for, though. He finds himself handcuffed to the wheel of a car, barreling down a highway into oncoming traffic, with only his ears to guide him through. Plus, he's late for dinner with Grandma. The game is delivered through hyper-immersive first-person audio and an audio drama-style story. You need to listen closely to the world around you so you can avoid the oncoming danger and survive this crazy ride. As a big fan of both video games and audio storytelling, Blind Drive combines these two mediums in a way I've never seen, or rather heard, before. I'll admit I was a bit dubious of Blind Drive when I first picked it up. I was intrigued by the concept, but I didn't think I'd get more than a gimmick. How much of a game or a story could you really get without any visual component? O ye of little faith. Blind Drive is an absurd comedy story where the next thing that happens is usually the most ridiculous thing that possibly could happen at that moment. The developers created an incredibly weird journey by stretching these mechanics further than I thought possible. While the mechanics are simple and stay the same throughout, they are able to vary the gameplay between each leg of the journey and even challenge you to boss fights along the way. That's boss fights, plural. I was expecting an enjoyable audio experience, but I wasn't expecting a game that was accessible for blind people. Now, I want to say that I am not blind, and I can't really speak to what the gameplay experience would be like for someone who is, but there was clearly an effort made on the part of the developers. And I've read reviews from a lot of people who are blind that really enjoyed the game. It has full text-to-speech accessibility, supporting NVDA, Windows TTS, Apple VoiceOver, and Android TalkBack. The visuals are pleasing, but very simple and don't portray anything essential to the game. Just movement, distance traveled, etc. One feature I loved was whenever I lost or gained hit points, the game would have an audio cue telling me how many hit points I had left at that point. If I was playing with my eyes closed, and I didn't have to peek to keep track of this. Blind Drive also wasn't really made by a game studio, but instead developed and produced by a collaborative artist group, Lo-Fi People. In their own words, Lo-Fi People is a small group of designers, coders, musicians, and filmmakers who share a love of creating playful and unconventional digital experiences. Our work includes award-winning games, animations, and installations for both physical and virtual spaces. They took this simple idea of how people might respond to driving without sight and created Blind Drive. Blind Drive is a short game, taking only about 2 or 3 hours to complete, but it delivers a unique and engaging experience for that whole playtime. Plus, with a fairly low price tag, I think Blind Drive is worth a try no matter what your usual gaming poison. You can pick it up on PC through Steam or itch.io, and on your phone through Google Play or the Apple App Store. Just remember that however you play it, you will need a set of headphones to hear the binaural sound.
Thanks, past me.
That was a lovely review, Maylee.
That was.
Now, I do have a couple of questions for you.
Hit me.
All right, so you play as a lab rat, right?
Yeah, those scientific studies where you can make money?
Yeah. Oh, okay, so you're not an actual rat?
Oh. I see the confusion. No,
okay.
You're like a guy who doesn't really have a job and you just make money.
Yeah, because I figured that was kind of the case, but I also was really charmed by the image of this little rat driving a full-sized human car. And he was very worried about not being able to make it to his grandma's.
What if it was a rat driving a tiny little toy car on a little track that they built for him?
But then, wait, how do the boss fights work?
I'll explain, but I do want to say quickly that with no visuals, I can't actually confirm that I was a human boy.
Okay,
maybe
so
I was a rat.
So I'm okay. Confirmed. You're a rat. Thank you.
So
Schrodinger's rat. You might be a rat. You might be human.
Could be a bird.
The boss fights are so basically, you're going along. There's very different stages, but the first stage, to not give too much away, is you're going down a highway and you have to avoid oncoming traffic. Swerving to the left
so
and
you
right.
hear they're coming and then you have to sort of move out of the way.
Yeah. One of the boss fights is a farmer, I believe, with a shotgun who's very upset that you've driven onto his property. And you have to drive out of the way of his aim and his bullets and try to escape the farm.
That sounds...
So it's a bit more intense.
Yeah. It's already stressful enough driving down the road blindfolded.
Yeah, it really is.
Did you hear what kind of... Is a farmer in a vehicle? Because I'm imagining the farmer's in a tractor.
In a tractor.
And you're hearing this. Okay, cool. That is... Now, because gameplay depends so much, actually, of media. It depends a lot on visuals. And I have heard a few examples of games that were created specifically so then you don't need to rely on visuals. That the visuals are just... Sometimes they're not important to the gameplay. I can't remember what it was, but there was this one adventure game where you had to try and it was kind of like the typical darkness has fallen upon a kingdom and you need to go find the magical relic to remove the darkness, but you're a blind child who's being guided by a fairy. So the fairy's acting as your eyes and you have to use the directions given to you by the fairy. But it's been a few years since
Wow, this was the first sort of game like this that I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
it's cool to know there's others.
There's not a lot of them, and
we'll have to find out what that is.
Yeah, I gotta try and do some digging through my memories. But it's not a very common thing because it is quite a challenging thing, and to do it seems apt that it isn't a group of game developers, but a group of just creatives who came together to make this experience, because it does sound like it's more of something you sort of feel and you hear and you sort of go with your gut kind of thing rather than depending on your eyes. And it's obviously worked if there's been so many positive reviews by people who are blind, who are just like, yay, I could play this is awesome. So I'm really glad that you shared that with us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not blind, but I just enjoyed the experience of lying down in my bed and playing a game. It was weird.
Really curious. Is there an option for subtitles?
I believe... I don't actually remember if it's an option or if it's just there anyway, but I had subtitles on.
Okay.
Yeah. I played mostly with my eyes closed, but I did look at the screen sometimes and there were subtitles.
Are the subtitles directional?
No. So there's dialogue, and it's subtitles of that, but no, I don't think you could play this game if you were deaf.
See, I can see, but my hearing is very poor. Not so much that it's my ears aren't sensitive, but my brain doesn't process sounds properly.
Yeah. I'm very similar, so I feel like I've missed the audio cues.
I kind of want to find out if it would be that hard for me.
Well, I mean, what consoles did you say it was on?
It's on the PC on Steam or itch.io, and it's also on Android and Apple phones.
Oh,
okay.
So that's where we can go check it out.
Yeah. It might be a problem if you're particularly bad at hearing in one ear because you need to be able to differentiate the direction. But
oh no, they're both bad.
Well, I mean, maybe it'll work then. I can't tell you.
Just turn the volume up really high. That will sort it out. Yeah. No, but it sounds like they executed it really well. And it sounds hectic and fun and interesting. And I'm subscribing to the image of you are actually a little rat driving a full-size human car and you're being chased by a farmer on a tractor.
No one can prove otherwise.
No one can prove otherwise.
Do you have to run on the top of the steering wheel to turn it really sharply?
Yes, of course. How else are you supposed to turn it?
Okay.
It's very stressful for the poor. No, now I'm becoming attached to this imaginary rat. No. Oh,
but it is very silly, fun experience. And
did you make it to your grandma's?
I don't want to spoil that.
Oh,
you'll have to find out.
I'll have to find out. Oh,
yeah.
Turtles. I completely forgot.
Oh, Teenage
Mutant
Ninja Turtles. I love. I need that as a beautiful little soundbite. Just. Oh.
Am I not totally enough for the Turtle Club?
This isn't related to turtles. It might be, depending on what you've been playing recently. But what have you all been playing recently?
I've been playing Frostpunk again.
Again?
Every now and then I have a phase where I'm like, I'm going to be good this time, and then I play a bunch to try and beat it on a harder difficulty, and I rarely succeed.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that feeling.
But I think I'm just going to uninstall it because I'm done with that now.
For realsies?
I'll probably have another phase eventually. But there's a game coming out tonight that's just going to consume me for probably a fortnight.
Yeah, is this which game is coming out tonight that you're super excited about?
This is Slime Rancher 2.
Oh, 2 Slime Ranchers.
2.
Wow.
Slime
Rancher 2. Yeah. So expect in a few weeks I will be reviewing that and infiltrating all of our music that we play with the Slime Rancher 2 soundtrack.
It is your right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As announcer sitting in the chair, you get a...
It won't even be when I'm in the chair though. I'll sneak it in.
Oh.
I'll hack the computers and make sure we only play Slime Rancher.
Ooh, all right. I'm going to have to counter hack you so I can infiltrate it with my Sonic music because...
Well, okay. Truce. Will be a Slime Rancher 2 and a Sonic show.
Yes.
Yeah.
No other video games.
Nothing else.
No. I hope you didn't have any other interest.
Everyone else can go.
I wanna propose a mix between the 2 games that were reviewed tonight. That's like blind hearse racing.
Okay, I love it.
You have to go fast, but you also have to not mess up the casket in the back.
Every time.
And also you're driving a hearse, which is really awkward.
if you take a corner too badly, you get a FaceTime call from one of the family members and they're crying.
I have another pitch.
Okay.
You know Surgeon Simulator?
Yes.
So we're doing Mortician Simulator, but you're blind.
Oh my god.
You just have to. I have to deduce what's happening by the squishes.
Every time you screw up, you get a FaceTime call from a family member who's crying.
Surgeon Simulator controls for a racing game.
Oh.
You have to like individually grab the car parts.
But that's actually brilliant. I really want to play that.
There's a game like that.
There is?
It involves bears.
Bears?
Oh, yes.
I can't remember what it's called.
It's probably something like Smarter Than the
It's
Average
like bear driving simulator.
We
or
keep
something
mentioning
like
good games and not having names.
Around and eat berries and fish and hibernate.
that. It was very popular on YouTube a few years ago.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was
complete chaos.
Yeah, that just took over YouTube for like 2-3 weeks, and then silence.
I have no memory of
Well,
this, and
I
I feel like
mean,
I would have loved it.
If you play it for more than like 3 hours, you've seen everything.
Yeah, there's not much to it really.
I didn't play it for more than 10 minutes. So
I mean, the life of a bear is pretty uncomplicated. You sleep, you eat, you have little babies.
They've got it all
drive a
figured
car
out.
Yeah.
into a tree.
EnviroBear 2000. Thank you, Toby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toby.
But what have you been
It's an
playing?
honest life.
Other than
we've been
bear games.
all three of us, myself, Zahra, and Caroline, have all been playing D&D.
Yes.
You know, I literally played D&D for a few hours today, and my initial reaction to that was, I'm so jealous. I wish I got to play D&D.
Yeah, we
I
haven't played for like a week.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's been very fun so far. We fought a creature, we fought a second creature, we put that second creature into a toilet.
You did.
Yeah, my character is how do you say, Aarakocra? Aarakocra. Bird people. And
Bird
she
boy.
is so gullible. And there was this one bit where one of the NPCs played a bit of a trick on us, and she was just not having it. She was just like, that was actually very rude and unnecessary, and I really did not appreciate that, and I want you to know that in the future that's just not on. She was like, please, even that's just not
really
on.
polite, actually. I thought you were going to say, like, she killed them.
No. She's actually...
She's too polite for that.
She's very polite. She managed to successfully pickpocket, and she had a little bit of a morality crisis about it internally.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Speaking of morality crises and stuff, Kingdom Hearts.
Wow, what a segue.
Yeah, Caroline booted up Kingdom Hearts a few nights ago, just because it was like
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts 2.5 final mix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh.
And
Too many games.
It's pretty much the first time that I've really experienced Kingdom Hearts in, I guess, the way it was intended. I'm putting that in quotation marks.
You mean not on Tumblr?
Not on Tumblr. Not through osmosis, because whatever Caroline, you've been trying to explain to me Sora, what nobodies are, what Heartless are, who Organization 13 is, who's Axel, what his C2 Sora, who's Roxas. And then, you know, I finally managed to get the Roxas and Sora situation sort of like figured out in my brain. And then there's this third character who looks identical, but he's not them. What's his name again? I forget.
I can't remember.
So something.
He's from one of the other side games.
Yeah, it's
can't
just
remember.
Birth by Sleep, was it?
I think. I don't know. I haven't played any of the side games, so.
I think that is it. I played the original Kingdom Hearts on my friend's PlayStation when I was probably like 10 years old for about 30 minutes. And I gotta say, Kingdom Hearts 2 is completely unrecognizable from that experience.
It is 90% cutscenes.
Yeah.
And it is... don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. You're trying to explain everything to me, and then Mickey Mouse appears, but he's a Heartless.
He's not a Heartless. He's just wearing an Organization 13 cloak
for fun.
He's going undercover.
He's of course.
In hiding.
Right.
He's being all mysterious.
He's an undercover cop.
I'm really sorry, but we're running low on time. And I feel like if I let you go on, we could talk about the intricacies of Kingdom Hearts lore for literally hours.
Yeah.
And I just can't. We've got minutes.
No, you're right. You gotta cut us off. You gotta cut us off.
I'm sorry.
It's the end of the night.
It's an endless well.
Really
if it makes you feel better,
really.
listener, even if we spent hours talking about it, it wouldn't make sense.
Ventus.
And there's no good point to stop.
Ventus is the character. Thank you, Clint.
It just gets deeper and deeper. So we're going to have to say goodbye.
Make sense. And we'll leave it on that.
We need to say goodnight, my friends.
I have a secret message. I'm cutting into our time. I'm stealing it from the ether. I do have a secret message before we go, that if you're listening to this on the 22nd and you're hearing my voice, you still have time to go and speed run the first Slime Rancher game before Slime Rancher 2 comes out. So I just suggest you do that.
Yep.
And I will leave you and we will say goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.